Good morning, Team Alabama. Here is another edition of Don't You Dare Read This, Mrs. Dunphrey. We're going to start on page 70, and we are going to work through the next few pages. Try to open it on your Chromebook, and we will add 5 to 10 new facts today. Page 70. Great. We're back to everything being my fault. Anyhow, it didn't do any good for me to try and be nice to Mom. After I said that, she didn't say anything at all, just sat there staring. Finally, I tugged the phone out of her hand because I wanted to call Sandy. Mom didn't move. Even then, she kept her fingers curled like she still had something to hold on to. Maybe I should talk to Brenda and ask her if Mom acts normal at work. But I don't know if I can trust Brenda. I think that she's the one who kept telling Mom to go to the Alibi Inn all the time to find out about Dad and to find Dad when he was actually there. I think Brenda is dating one of Dad's friends. Something. And she's been telling Mom where Dad is now. Really, Brenda seems as bad as Sandy or Rochelle or Chastity about guys. Just once I'd like to know a grown-up who really acts grown up. I guess that's why I miss Grandma so much. She was a lot older than Brenda or Mom, of course, but it was like she'd really learned something in all her years. She wasn't out chasing guys like some 15-year-old. She'd say things like, "If you don't respect yourself, how do you expect anyone else to?" I think Dad really hated her, but there wasn't anything he could do because we were staying at her house. Okay. Let's add some facts. Okay, Grandma gave really good advice about learning to respect yourself. And Brenda is probably telling Mom where Dad is. And Dad didn't probably like Grandma a whole lot. And Mom is acting really, really strange. Okay, what are some other facts that you can add that you know at this point? How does Tish feel about her friends? Does she feel like they're mature, or does she feel like they are boy crazy? Page 71 at the top. One time I remember that she told him that she was going to call the police on him if he didn't leave Mom and us kids alone, and he did. That time after that, I think that he'd figured out that she really wouldn't call the police because she didn't want anyone to know how bad things were at her house. She told me once that her failing was pride. I didn't know what she meant then, but maybe that's what she was talking about. Except that she'd also send me off to school saying, "Make me proud today," like pride was something good. You know, I did do really well in school before Grandma died. Okay, there's a good fact. Tish really did do well in school. She's smart. And she didn't struggle like she did when Grandma was around. February the 1st, page 71. Don't read this, Mrs. Dunphrey. It's kind of a nothing day today. Mom's still being weird. School still stinks. The burger boy is still boring. And I'm sorry, Mrs. Dunphrey. I just can't write tons when nothing is happening. Sometimes I think maybe I'll wake up one morning and life will be totally different. Everything will be good and my parents will be normal. Matt won't be so whiny. And I'll have plenty of money without working at the Burger Boy. Okay, let's add the word whiny, okay? Whiny means when you use a certain tone of voice to complain about something, you whine, and it's an annoying tone of voice. I'll have great clothes. I won't have to go to school. I'll have a boyfriend who's really nice to me. Hey, this is just a dream. And let's see, since this is just a dream, Grandma will still be alive. Wouldn't it be great? But I keep waking up every morning to the same old life. Bummer. February 4th. Don't read this, Mrs. Dunphrey. I have a new way of dealing with Mom. I just ignore her. I figure that she's the adult here, not me. So why should I try to baby her? For a while there, I was acting like she was Matt, like it was my responsibility to take care of her. But if she wants to act like the zombie queen of the universe, that's her problem, not mine. Now it's kind of like Matt and I have our lives, and then there's the other presence in the house, and that's just barely there. I try not to even notice if she's sitting in the living room watching TV or not. And when I come home from school or the burger boy, I still walk Matt home from school, and I still try to make sure that he has enough to eat, and I still clean up the kitchen once or twice a week. And I talk to him all the time, but I don't even try with Mom. Last night, Matt was playing with his Matchbox cars on the living room floor, and I decided I wanted to watch Rescue 911 instead of Wheel of Fortune, which was on. I asked Matt if he minded if I turned the channel, but I didn't even think of Mom until Matt asked her if she cared, and she was sitting right there. She just grunted. Anyhow, nothing matters to her except Dad. Okay, so let's talk about Mom. Maybe we can even list that in our facts. Has Mom checked out? Is Mom kind of super depressed? Or what's wrong with Mom? That's maybe a question that we want to ask. Does Mom get back to normal? Does Mom ever step in and start being a parent? Does Mom take the parenting role from Tish? Does Tish always have to be the parent? Okay, these are all questions you could be asking yourself. So what are the new things you heard that you learned? And then what are some things you want to know? Good readers always ask themselves those questions. The weird thing is, life doesn't really seem that different than it was before I was ignoring Mom. It was like it's not like she's really said anything to me since Christmas, except he does love me. I know he does. That one day, and how could you? Yelling at your own father. A couple of other times. Maybe if she'd yelled at me, it would have made sense. But she just whined and backed off when I defended myself. How can my mother be such a wimp? I bet Grandma was really ashamed of her. She just must have let it show, or she just must not have let it show around Matt and me. Okay, so then the teacher writes back in the italics, but she hasn't let her read any of this yet. Tish looks fine. You really have written a lot this time. Okay, we're going to stop there for today. We're ready for page 74.